Good evening, everybody. Thank you ever so much for joining us. I hope all is well. Tonight we're going to present vital information pertaining to studying a vocational programme at Petrock. But first of all, my colleagues and I are going to introduce ourselves. My name is Marie Gould and I'm Head of Faculty for Business and Management. And over to Simon.
Hello, I'm Simon Shipley and I'm Head of Faculty for Digital Science, Engineering and Motor Vehicle. And over to Pat.
Good evening, my name is Pat Broom and I'm Head of Faculty for the Built Environment, Carpentry, Wood Occupations, but I also have an involvement within the plumbing and electrical and the bricklaying areas.
Next slide, please. So in tonight's presentation, we're going to give you an overview of our vocational study programmes, and then we're going to break that down into our different curriculum provision within our different faculties. There will then be a chance to take some question and answers, and then we'll guide you through the next steps. Next slide, please. So what is a vocational study programme? This is your opportunity to study a particular subject in depth. They're classified as full-time courses, although they might be timetabled at over 3 or 4 days to allow you to commit to a industrial placement or relevant work experience. Depending on the qualifications and the subject that you study, there will be a range of assessment methods, and most of them are a mixture of exams and coursework that is assessed. At Petrock, you can study with us from level 1 up to level 3 on a vocational study programme. Some of them are standalone qualifications that take a year, and you can then go on to a second extended element in a second year. We've also looked at introducing a wide range of blended learning elements. Next slide, and over to Simon, please.
So you should ask yourself some questions if you want to know whether taking a vocational course is going to be the right thing for you. The important things to consider are, do you like practical elements of your learning? Many of the vocational courses will have workshop skills which you can get some hands-on practical experience. And if you know where you want to end up with in your career, then you can concentrate on just that one subject rather than having to take a basket of subjects as you would have done at school so far. Similarly, you can consider where you want to go beyond the next course you take, whether you want to go into higher education at university level, or into work, or into an apprenticeship, which is studying as you learn. Next slide, please. So as I mentioned, a vocational course can take you on to university, where you do a full degree, or indeed you can stay at Petrock and take degree level courses. An apprenticeship, we have a wide range of employers that we work with to provide apprenticeships, which is on-the-job training, where both the employer and the college will contribute to your education and training. Direct to employment, or indeed you can progress onto a higher level vocational course. Next slide, please. Marie mentioned the different levels of study, and it may be a little new to you if you're at school. This is phrasing that we use at colleges. So just talking quickly through the different levels that you might encounter. So entry level, or sometimes called foundation learning, is where you would enter if you have not gained any formal requirements, and you might need some special small group skills, and it's basically going to be building your skills and learning so that you can progress on into more education. Level 1 is typically if you've achieved 4 GCSEs at grade 2 and above, including maths and English, and there's a range of different lengths of courses in awards, certificates and diplomas. Level 2 include GCSEs, certificates and diplomas. There are level 2 apprenticeships, and that would typically be suitable for somebody who's achieved 4 GCSEs at grade 3 and above, including maths and English. Level 3, which is you might think of as equivalent to A levels, and vocational certificates and diplomas, would be suitable for people with 5 GCSEs at grade 4 and above, including maths and English. Some vocational courses may ask for slightly higher entry qualifications. Next slide, please.
Okay, good evening. As I said, my name is Pat Broom, and I oversee the courses that you can see on your screen. We cover a huge range of courses within our construction department, which incorporate the diplomas, which I'll come to in a moment, BTECs, the new apprenticeship standards, and moving up to a higher level then, which would be sort of HNC and the HE programs. Within the construction trade, you could be a carpenter and joiner. You might start off at level 1 with your carpentry course, and it would be the introduction into carpentry, where you'd be learning basic hand tools, power tool use, and how to construct things such as small window frames, doors, skirting boards, ironmongery, hanging doors. This would then, of course, lead on to a level 2, where you can then progress into your own specialized route, such as site carpentry, bench joinery, or possibly other trades like wood machining or furniture making. Okay, so within all of the construction trades, the carpentry, the bricklaying, the multi-trade skills, the painting and decorating, they're all trades where you can start off as a diploma and hopefully gain yourself an apprenticeship. And at any point through our courses within construction, you can come off of your full-time course and go on to an apprenticeship, which of course is now a changed route altogether with what's called the standard. With the new standard, you train with us in our college using our workshop facilities and superb teaching rooms, and you're with us for a day a week minimum, and then you're with your employer for the rest of the week. You would train with us, for instance, for 2 years, then learning a whole range of skills with us at the college. You'd be learning your skills as well in the workplace. And with that, then at the end of your 2-year period, you sit what's called an EPA, which is your endpoint assessment. And that would be where the awarding body, which is City and Guilds for the majority of our courses, come down, they set you a task, you do the task, you then have a theory test, and then hopefully you've passed that, and that will open up the next route, where that could be a level 3, or it could be changing to the built environment, where you might want to do a BTEC within the built environment. And that is could well be another 2-year course or quicker, depending on your experience. We have a range. We have a full-time version of the course. We have a day release version of the course where you might have gained yourself employment. So you could do it as a day release course. And you would be studying numerous units within that, such as the measurement, building techniques, information and data. So there's approximately 26 units that you could pick, of which 9 are mandatory, and you have 3 external exams. So we can guide you through a whole range of routes that start off, for instance, as the diplomas, like I've said, and work our way through. So your actual career progression within the construction trade, okay, doesn't just stop at level 1. It can progress all the way through to, like what was said previously by Simon, that you could end up going to university. You can take our qualifications with you to university. Okay. So what have we done within carpentry and some of the construction areas? Well, we like to make you award winners if we can. We enter into competitions such as Skill Build and World Skills, which we've had good success in. We've entered into Painting Decorators competitions for Painter Decorator of the Year, of which we've won that previously. And we've won the City and Guilds competitions called Medal of Excellence, where there's a lovely medal that is then given to the student, and there are a very, very small number of students that actually have that medal. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so within construction, it also covers the electrical and the plumbing. Okay, so very much similar to the carpentry and the painting and decorating trades and the bricklaying. You can start off at level 1 as a diploma. You can move on to level 2. And again, throughout any of that, the same as the plumbing and electrical and the carpentry, if hopefully you manage to gain yourself an apprenticeship, you're able then to transfer from your full-time course over to an apprenticeship, which is, again, a standard. Okay, next slide, please.
So looking at vocational courses in computing and IT, we start with the level 1 course, which is a general introduction to IT. Alongside this study program, you would be concentrating on your English and maths and learning skills as well. But it would give you a basic introduction in building websites and looking at simple programs. Progressing to level 2, it's a little bit more in depth and includes writing Visual Basic programs, creating websites that are responsive to the user's needs, and is a very solid grounding in IT. New for this year, at level 3, we're offering apprenticeship standards, IT solutions, IT infrastructure, and digital marketer. And I'll give you a little bit of detail about each of those. So the IT infrastructure is very much about the hardware route in IT and connecting up networks and installing computers from scratch. The IT solutions covers a range of different pathways, including software and also in terms of IT support. The digital marketer, as the name implies, is about using your digital skills to provide marketing support to a company, and this would involve a number of different knowledge modules where you would learn to place a website to make sure that it's getting far enough up on a Google search, and you'd look at IT security and basically learn how to market your company online. Again, new for this year, we have 2 digital T-levels. T-levels, as I'm first to talk about them, will require you to do really quite a high level of academic study in your chosen profession. Alongside of that, you will need to do a significant work placement with a local employer of up to 45 days, or a minimum of 45 days. The 2 different T-levels that we have, digital production, design and development, is really about software development, is really quite academic and challenging, but is an excellent grounding if you want to go and work in the software industry. The digital support services offers 3 different routes within it, which cover the background support needs, much like the IT solutions and IT infrastructure technician apprenticeships, which would involve networking, installation and maintenance of computer systems, and help desk support. Next slide, please. In the motor vehicle section, most learners would start at level 1 on transport maintenance, which really introduces people to general workshop skills. So it would involve basic checks on vehicles, being able to replace brake parts, for example, and general maintenance with a little bit of theory on top. At level 2, if your grades are particularly good, or you have previous experience working with motor vehicles, you could go straight in at level 2, and the light vehicle maintenance repair gives a much more in-depth exploration of of working with cars. So you work on engines, you take them to part, repair them, but also there's a lot more classroom theory based activity at level 2, because the motor vehicle trade is really becoming more challenging in terms of the theory behind it. And if we look at the apprenticeship, the motor vehicle service and maintenance technician is level 3. It's a natural progression from the level 2. Again, working with an employer 4 days a week, but working off the job in the employer to really understand that the skills you're applying in the rest of the week, coming into college to work on your theory and practical skills. And at the end of it, as Pat described, there's an endpoint assessment which will take place over a period of 3 days, where an expert from the Institute of the Motor Industry will come and assess your competence to work on motor vehicles. Next slide, please. In engineering, we have two full-time vocational courses. Level 2 is much more of a practical course, which gives you skills in milling and turning, lathe operations, bench fitting, and really a really strong basis for mechanical engineering in the workshop. Alongside that, there'll be theory support as well as maths and English, because as you go up through engineering, particularly the maths challenge is something where you're going to need to get your maths skills well polished. At level 3, it's much more classroom based, covering engineering physics, engineering mathematics, further engineering mathematics, CAD, CAM electronics, programming of logic controllers and CNC machines, which are automated machines to allow mills to shape and turn pieces. Again, the level 3 apprenticeships, we'll get level 2 and level 3 apprenticeships, engineering fitter, engineering operative, and engineering technician. They share many common elements in terms of the theory and units that they cover, but each has slightly different specialities in terms of whether it's mechanical or electrical units, whether it's building parts or maintaining equipment. Next slide, please.
Thank you. So within the business faculty, we've again got a range of courses, and again to meet a range of different needs. We've got on the level 2 on business and the full-time courses, our first extended certificate in business, and that's for those of you that need to perhaps resit 1 or 2 of your GCSEs to get it up to the higher level. The units range from marketing, finance, customer service, all sorts of different disciplines within a business environment, allowing you to reach your strengths and look for employment, apprenticeship, or higher education course when you leave us. We also offer a technical cert in business admin, which has 2 to 3 days of work experience attached. This is really great for those of you that aren't quite ready for an apprenticeship, but do not want to come back to college full-time for a variety of reasons. And we will support you with a local employer to go in and really make a difference in their business. Whether you then progress or you come straight in at level 3, we can offer you the foundation diploma in business. This is a standalone qualification equivalent to 1.5 A-levels, and on successful completion, you can either again move on to an apprenticeship, get employment, or ask if you can come back and top it up to the extended diploma. Mixture of coursework and exams, a mixture of units, marketing, finance, management, decision-making, digital marketing, and again, a heavy involvement on the beneficial work experience. We've also introduced a course predominantly for those of you that have perhaps done 2 years of study with us and either want to take a bit of a stopgap before you go into employment, or onto university for a variety of reasons. And it is a startup in business. Now, it might be for you entrepreneurs who really have got a fantastic opportunity that you want our support to get off the ground. Young Enterprise Programme is part of it. Again, it is timetabled on 2.5 days to allow you to go and work with a range of local entrepreneurs. And if you don't want to actually specifically start up your own business, the skills that you learn will support you in future employment, whether that's part-time, if you're going off to university, if you're staying with us to do higher education, or into one of the many employment opportunities that you might have. We are very heavily supported by our local community, and we have Dragon's Den Enterprise Challenge Days and lots of competitive, fun, yet really important sessions with a range of local entrepreneurs. If you are ready to get out into the world of work and want to have a proportion of that put towards a qualification, then again, we offer a range of different apprenticeships. They all start at level 2, and it is dependent on the role, and that might be accounts, customer service, and then moving up to the level 3, which is HR, digital marketer, business admin, and team leading. And if you are really, really wanting to get one of these apprenticeships, whatever I've been talking about, one of my colleagues, we've also got a fabulous traineeship provision where we will support you in gaining an apprenticeship. So that might be worth looking at. Thank you. And next slide, please. So we're going to take any questions. So the first question, and this is probably maybe different for all three of us. Will I need to buy textbooks and equipment for my course? Within business, we have got some recommended textbooks, but with the blended learning option, we have so many resources now in our Google Classrooms and links to different resources. Some of the accountancy courses, again, we would recommend textbooks, but it's really good to apply and speak to the subject specialist and get their take on that. Simon, have you got anything to add?
Very, very similarly, textbooks, it's always useful to have textbooks, that particularly at the level 3, to support your theory, but the online resources that we provide in our blended learning will see you through. In terms of equipment, you will be expected to provide yourself with personal protective equipment, overalls and safety boots, so that you can use the workshop safely. Pat?
Yeah, very similar for all the construction trades. We have recommended books that it would be very worthwhile you getting, especially for any of the courses that lead in and through your apprenticeship, because your end point assessment test could be very intense from the awarding body, and it would be good then to have their recommended books to revise from. Equipment wise, we would normally supply all the equipment that you would need to be able to complete your course. If, of course, you wanted to bring your own equipment in, your own tools, chisels, hammers, and things like that, paintbrushes, then you'd be more than welcome to. But we aim to supply all your equipment for you to complete your course. And as Simon said, PPE-wise, we would require that you have safety boots, but dust masks and things like that after that event, then we would be supplying that for you.
Thank you. And I think it's probably really important to add that most, especially with the blended learning options, that some form of technology, and you've all been living in very different times, but and it's really good to talk to our sort of learning resources team about borrowing and making sure that, you know, we support you any way we can.
Yep.
Okay, so the next question is, I mean, again, we've probably got a different take. What happens if I apply for a level 3 or a level 2 course but don't get my maths or English grades? Well, we are all back quite early in August as a college, and we're all on hand for GCSE results day, which I think is slightly later this year. So please don't worry. I know it's really difficult times, but if I was stood in front of you, I'd be saying, if you really, you know, you've got to do your best. The harder you work and get these predicted grades, it will support you for the rest of your learning. So if you do struggle, we've got a course for you and we will support you. But perhaps if you're not doing your best, perhaps just put a little bit more effort in, because you don't want to be on a lower level course and perhaps get bored when you could have gone on a higher level. So if you don't get the grades that you want in maths and English, come and talk to us. We're on the phone. Hopefully we'll be open and can see you face to face, and we will look at your options and whether it's a lower level course within the same provision or perhaps there is a better suited course elsewhere. Simon, would you like to add anything?
Yes, I think I'd just add, Marie, that if you haven't got your grades and you do find a course with this, as Marie said, we would find a course that would interest you and support you. You will, of course, have the opportunity then to retake your English and maths to get those very, very important high grades that you'd need.
Yep, I would agree. That would stand exactly the same for any of the construction trades as well.
And I think maybe we should add as well that if you want to do an apprenticeship, that you do have to have certain grades, and we do again offer functional skills to make sure that you're working at the right level. But again, that's where the traineeship might come in if you need to resit either maths or English, because we can support you on the traineeship before you progress onto your actual discipline. If I want to do an apprenticeship, should I also apply for a full-time course? Again, I've just told you about traineeship. So if your heart is set on an apprenticeship, apply for a traineeship and talk to our program manager. But it won't hurt for you to apply for an equivalent full-time course, because we can sit and we can interview and we can also advise you of how to go about getting an apprenticeship. And perhaps if you decide not to and you decide to come back, your place might be secure on the full-time course. So I would definitely look into traineeships and applying for a full-time equivalent and getting as much information as you can. Pat, have you got anything to add?
I would totally agree that for the construction trades, that if you are thinking of hopefully getting an apprenticeship, but you haven't got one at the time being, then apply for the full-time version of the course, and that secures your place onto the course. And as I said earlier on, at any point then through your full-time course, you're able to come off of your course and join on to being an apprentice, onto your apprenticeship route. So as far as construction is concerned, it'd be a really good idea to apply for a full-time course.
So I think now it's time to move on to the next slide.
So what are your next steps? Please explore the courses in more detail. Please apply and get interviewed, and come back and keep asking questions. Download the My Petroc app. We can email you a login and you can keep track of your application. We have got further open events. The next one in June on a Saturday, and hopefully in person. Next slide, please. If you're still not sure.
So if I could just add, if you're interested in any of the T-levels we've described later this evening at 6:30, there's a separate T-level event which you can find on the Petroc website.
Thank you. And if you're still not sure, please contact our Advice and Guidance Centre. The live chat is open until 7:30, or call and email us on 01271 852 422, or email on the guidance centre at petroc.ac.uk. No questions too silly, too small. We'd rather advise and guide and do the best we can to get you on the right course. From my colleagues and I thank you ever so much for joining us. Please take care, stay safe, and I hope to see you at Petroc in the not so distant future. Thank you.
Thank you.